mistakes were made. I thought that I would have an easy plug and play setup. Boy, was I wrong. It all started when I finished getting the server updated, as we saw in the last video, and I wanted to do a recording of the BIOS screen as I fired it up for the first time. And just kind of went through what the BIOS was saying about the server, and come to find out, I could not, in fact, record. So I found out that you needed a converter card, which is this little guy. It's just a little box with two HDMIs, one in, one out, and a USB-C to plug into your computer to do the actual recording. I went to plug it in and found out that, well, I guess I should have known that the server runs a VGA, not an HDMI. So I got a VGA to HDMI converter, and come to find out it is a static or passive adapter, not an active one, which actively transcodes or transmits the analog signal from the server to the HDMI. I'll just put a GPU in. I'm planning to put a GPU in the future. Just do it now, bite the bullet, install. When I picked up the GPU, I also picked up 2 hard drives, which I thought I would need to run the OS that I'm going to, and just like overall storage. I got 2 of the Iron Wolf 4 terabyte NAS hard drives for this. I just wanted something that I felt pretty confident that would last me a little while without going crazy big. You know, I don't need a 100 terabytes. Do they even make that 100 terabyte size drive for my first couple? I just wanted to get my feet wet, so I got a couple of those. So I went with a RTX 3060, which is this guy. But if you notice, instead of 3060, it says 3050. I went to Best Buy, I looked online, it said they had it. Went and said, yo, I want a 3060. I was so excited, or so stupid, I grabbed the 3050 instead. It'll do the job. It won't do it as well as the 3060. It looks like the 3060 is about 40% faster or better all around than the 3050. At this point, I don't really care. I just wanted to accomplish the goal of recording the screen for you guys using the capture card. So during the install of the GPU, everything from even the instructions to YouTube videos and ChatGPT all said that the 3050, maybe 3060, has a power supply. So I'm looking, can't find it. So I'm gonna tear it open. It says remove the fan shroud. So I tear it open and look, there is no power supply. That's how I came to find out that I have the 3050, not the 3060. So I had to repaste the GPU back together, thermal paste, tighten it back down, throw it in, found out that it has PCIe power. Didn't know that was a thing. I guess you don't know what you don't know, right? Plugged it in, it works, tried the capture card, it works, great. Got a win, felt amazing. Thought this was it. So I went with TrueNAS OS system, so operating system, and I'm gonna put it on a flash drive, go to plug it in. Flash drive will not recognize the TrueNAS software, so get frustrated and I download Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U, run the micro SD card with the new OS on it, and it works, but it does not recognize any of the hard drives, the 2 hard drives that I put in. Oh, the micro SD card OS isn't working. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and get 2 SSD solid state drives to run the OS on. What's the difference between hard drives and solid state drives? Hard drives, they kind of remind me of a CD player. There are spinning discs and a needle that goes back and forth, or a laser for a CD player, and it reads the data on each disc. A solid state drive is kind of like a flash drive, where there's no moving parts. All the data is just there, so it's faster and more reliable. You want to use your SSDs for apps, operating systems, anything you want to run quickly, and your hard drives for data that you don't care if it takes a split second longer to go back and forth to pick up the information. So I go to Best Buy, which they probably know me by name, and get 2 500 gig Samsung SSD drives, throw the OS, TrueNAS, on it this time. I don't have the right hardware for the hard drive for the server to like sit in there. It takes like a little plastic card. I don't have the right screws for it. I ended up getting this little hardware kit from Amazon. I think it was like $8. It's got a ton of different screws for different parts of your PC. I got a big one, that way I wouldn't run out. I think it could be a good buy. When I had the SSD card plugged into the back of, or inside the server, that's when I found out that there's a bigger issue than just running the OS. So I opened it back up, checked all my cables, everything was connected. So then it led me to believe that it was the RAID card. This is a RAID card. It's got your cable hookups in the back. See if I get to focus. It stands for redundant array of integrated disks. A redundant array of independent disks. Basically, it just shows all your hard drives. And so the one that I had did not do that. I decided to upgrade it to a basically jailbroke IT mode activated RAID card that I got off Amazon. I noticed that the cable from the back plane to the RAID card, the cabling was not the same. Luckily, I actually had a back plane from an old computer laying around. This is what it looks like. This is the one that was in the server. You got two Molex connectors here. I'm assuming that's power. And then your, I got micro SATA, I believe that is. And then this is where your hard drives actually plug in. I got a new used one and put that in. So I have my two SSDs and my two HDDs, hard drives, plugged into the back of that. Did it work? Yes, it worked. So as I entered TrueNAS, I checked the disks, and you can see that I have two SSD drives and two hard drives with different varying capacities, obviously. So it was a successful install. After installing TrueNAS, one thing that I learned that was pretty interesting, I assumed that it would need a monitor at all times. Basically, the server is just nothing. You access all of TrueNAS through a web browser, which was pretty surprising. I didn't really understand how it worked until I got it installed. For everything that I'm doing inside of TrueNAS, I'm using a video from Hardware Haven, how I configured my TrueNAS complete setup. I think he's a pretty smart dude. He knows more than I do. I'm just gonna follow his lead. One thing that I'm learning about this server build that I have is it's pretty loud when it's running at full steam. So I might take it out of this office area that I have and put it in my basement. It's cooler. I have a dehumidifier down there, and I can build like kind of a filtration system just in case any weird particles might get in. It's down there if I need it. I can throw a monitor down there just in case. But I think that having it, like this office is offside of my house, so having it close to my house, I think is gonna be a better thing to have just in case. During this build, there were times that I got pretty frustrated. It seemed like every turn, nothing was working out. But at the end, when it did work, the feeling and pride and joy that finishing this to a success was 10 out of 10. So it might look like it sucks, you might not know what you're doing, but I guarantee you the feeling of when you get it right is so good. Everything's ready. Now we can finally get to the fun stuff. Installing Jellyfin, editing, mesh network, a lot of things coming up. Stay tuned.